hit different, hit different, hit. Wait a minute. Hello everybody, my name is Kaylin and welcome to my channel. Y'all, I have been vibing to SZA'S latest song, Hit Different with Ty Dolla $ign. And y'all, the music video was everything from the melanin to the hair to the looks to the dancing. And I recreated the look. In this video, I'm going to literally walk you through the entire process. So if you are interested in learning how to dye your clothes using acrylic paint that you can get from the dollar store, if you're interested in learning how to crochet weave into your hair, and if you are interested in just a different poses idea to achieve the look, keep watching. If you aren't a part of this family, make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment below, and share. All right, now we can vibe. Hit different, hit different. This is the first top that we got from Goodwill. It is originally from Zara. It is a short sleeve crew neck top that is sheer. And then the second top is American Eagle. And it is a short sleeve crew neck top, and both tops are of a synthetic stretchy material. And then the pair of pants is a wide leg cotton material pant with a nice pinstripe detail. And I am probably going to butcher the name, the brand name, but I believe it's ACRYLIC Lifestyle. And we got all the clothes from Goodwill. So this is the supplies we use to dye the fabric. We have a 15-liter bucket, the paint stick for stirring, which is optional, 2 fluid ounce bottles of acrylic paint. I got the brand Apple Barrel, but I don't think it really matters the name brand. And then Delta Creative textile medium, and then a pair of rubber gloves. So it's all about to go down in my bathtub. So basically I just took one of the drawers from my 3-drawer dresser and I filled it up with cold water. And I just made sure all of the clothes are drenched in the water, because you want to make sure the clothes are nice and wet before you start the dyeing process. And then you're going to take out that 15-liter bucket again, put the clothes back in the bucket, and make sure the clothes are nice and completely covered by the hot water. Once they are nice and covered by the hot water, I just begin to squeeze all of the water out and take the clothes out of the bucket and just place it next to the bucket so we can prepare to make our paint solution. So you're going to grab your first bottle of acrylic paint. This could be any color you desire to use. And you're just going to pour it into the hot water and make sure you just squeeze the bottle and get all of the paint in the bucket. And just make sure you're taking your time, you're not rushing. Once you finish the first bottle, you're going to grab your second bottle of paint and just repeat that process of squeezing all of the paint into the mixture. And then just take your time, make sure you're not making too much of a mess, and make sure you're getting all of the paint from the bottle. And then you're going to grab your textile mixture. So the bottle says to mix in 2 parts of paint with 1 part of the textile medium. So what I did to measure is I just used a handy dandy white cup and I filled that halfway with the textile medium. And then I just began to pour that into the bucket. And it made this really pretty, like, cloudy effect in the bucket. And then I just put back on my gloves to just prepare for mixing. And once your gloves are back on, you're going to mix the mixture. Make sure that it is a nice even color and that there are no paint clumps in the bottom of the bucket. So just take your time, make sure you're swishing the mixture around. It's a little therapeutic, at least for me it was. Now let the fun begin. We are going to start putting the clothing one by one into the paint mixture. And what you want to do is just make sure you're pressing all the way down and making sure the clothing gets all the way to the bottom of the bucket. So our goal with this is just to make sure the clothing is really getting soaked and drenched in that paint mixture we just created, and that every part of the fabric is absorbing that color. So make sure you are constantly moving it around in the paint mixture. And just take your time, make sure you are focusing on all areas of the clothing. And you're going to want to repeat this process for all of the clothing that you plan on dyeing. And I found it really beneficial to do this one clothing at a time. Just so you make sure you're really taking the time with each clothing, and that one clothing is not getting more love than the other. But if I was to do this process again, which I definitely am, I would probably do 2 different buckets, just because the pants are so much bigger than the tops, and I believe it could have helped if they had a little more space to really soak in that paint. So just be mindful of what you are dyeing and the size of, the bucket that you're using. Yep, and just make sure you're just taking your time, moving the fabric around in the paint solution. And I just periodically would move the clothes around in the solution, and I let the clothing sit for a good 40 minutes. And so this is just me showing you guys what it was looking like. And overall, I was pretty impressed with the transformation that I was witnessing right before my eyes. These are no longer our white pants anymore. You can tell that it is like this cool sherbet orange color. But with the top, you could see that some areas are a lot darker than the others. So I just began to press all the clothing back and just make sure I paid attention to those areas that I thought were not absorbing the paint. And just make sure you're taking your time with swishing the fabric around, just to make sure that it's getting all of that paint. Y'all, I was so excited to see the results. So I put back on my gloves, brought out some hangers, and I start hanging the clothes one by one. And I just began to squeeze the water from the fabric. And I just have this like white structure underneath. So any of the paint that was dripping from the clothing, it was catched. And it was not dyeing or staining my tub. So I just repeated that process for all of the clothing. But you guys, I was squeezing the dear life out of the clothes. And I just recommend that you squeeze kind of lightly, because if you squeeze too hard, then you are removing the color from the fabric. So when it dries, it could be a little uneven. And then this is the results. So the pants are this really cool sherbet color. And just be mindful that when your clothes are wet, they are a little darker than what they will be when they're dry. And then this is the top. And this is the second top. And I was so excited. This is the first time I was using paint to dye fabric. And so I let it dry overnight, and this is what it looked like the next day. So we're going to zoom in, and you're going to see that some areas are darker than the others. And then this could be a result for two reasons. One, I was squeezing too hard, and two, it just wasn't absorbing the paint mixture. So just make sure you're mindful of that when you try this yourself. And then this is the back. But overall, I was impressed with the orange color. And then this is the next top. Some areas I could tell really took to the orange paint. And then these are my pants. I was so happy that I still had that pinstripe detail. And it was giving such a cool, an airbrush feel. And then this is just the back side of the pant. To get some of the wrinkles out, I took the pair of pants to the laundromat, put in the dryer on the lowest setting. And then this is a result. It's like a cool stripe pattern that I wasn't planning, but I loved it. And we're going to get to the hair, honey. I used a pack and a half of the Spectra Easy Braid Professional hair. And then this hair was already pre-stretched. And y'all, we are making the best use of my bathroom, okay? This is my towel rack, and I just put some hooks on that. And what I did was I sectioned the hair in 4 parts, and I just began to braid it all the way down. And I just want to create that nice wave that SZA had in her music video. So by braiding the 4 sections of weave all the way down, I was trying to get that same nice even wave for my own hair. Yeah, so just take your time, make sure you're braiding all the way down, and make sure the hair is nice and parted evenly. So once that's done, I needed to soak all of the braids into a hot water just so the wave pattern can really set. And I just begin to hang them back up, and I just let them sit in a bucket overnight to dry. And then it's time to start installing the weave in my hair, and we're going to use the crocheting method. So I just unraveled one of the braids, and I braided my own hair. And I just began to, part by part, install it in my hair. And so I put the crochet needle through my own braid. I latched the weave onto the crochet needle, and then I pulled the latch through my braid, and I just began to knot the weave in my braid to secure it. And I just did the same process until the braid was nice and full. And I just installed the weave throughout the braid, but I left good spaces in between. So make sure you're taking your time when you are crocheting the weave in your own scalp, and just make sure it's evenly distributed throughout the braid. Y'all, this was so tough doing my own hair, but I think I did the best I could do, because y'all, this is the first time I was attempting to do this. And I did this 4 times. So I did 2 rows in the back, 1 in the middle, and 1 at the top, just to make sure it was pretty full. And I wanted to get that long length that SZA has. So I end up taking down the front of my hair. This was the length. And after that, I trimmed the ends just to make sure it was nice and even. And I just began to rebraid the weave because I wanted to achieve that wave pattern. And so we're basically just going to repeat the process I did before installing the weave in my hair. And so I section the hair in even parts, and I just begin to braid all the way down, making sure I took my time and I grabbed all of the strands. And I repeated this whole process until all of my hair was braided. And once it was braided, I got that handy dandy bucket, fill it with hot water, and just dip my hair in there. And then once that was dry, I got to beat in my face, child, to really channel my inner SZA. And this is the results. Hit different, ayy. These are some of the pictures I took from the shoot. Y'all, the sun was hitting, the orange was popping, my hair was flowing, and I was just living for the SZA moment. And this is the top that my sister wore. If you want to see more pictures, definitely go to my Instagram. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. While I was editing, I was thinking about some takeaways that will help your dyeing process go a lot smoother. Number 1, there were 2 YouTubers that really helped me learn the crocheting basics and the dyeing basics. So I'm going to put their links in my bio. 2, if you want your item of clothing to not have that stripe effect like mine did, then I recommend that you put it in the dryer instead of letting the clothes dry overnight. And my last takeaway is that you use multiple buckets if you are dyeing multiple items. Y'all, I just loved how it turned out, and I hope you are willing to try yourself. And if you do, definitely comment below. Alright, see you in the next video. Hair different, hair different, hair different, hair different.